Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast. It's Monday. It's the Monday mashup. I've got a bit of a head cold, so if I sound funny, there's nothing I can do about it. Hope you're all well. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you're enjoying whatever preseason is out there, or if you're following the Irish League or whatever it is. But solo show tonight. Mark's caught up at the moment. He said he might be able to join us later on. We'll see what happens, but I doubt he's caught up at the moment dealing with a wedding party, so I doubt it. We'll see Mark tonight. But we do have a few bits to get through. We have an update on the League of Ireland, Premier and Division 1, some good movement in there. My own team, Bray, picking up a big win against Dundalk on Friday night, played really, really well and we're full value for it. So we'll go through some of the results there on the tables and where we're at and what we think of stuff like that. We're also going to take a look ahead to the FAI Cup, some brilliant ties there coming up Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So we'll give you a breakdown on them, the ones to look out for and all that kind of stuff as well. We are going to have a quick chat, obviously, about Liverpool playing Preston yesterday at Deepdale. We'll get into that. We'll talk about Chelsea winning the World Club Cup, now world champions, get to wear that gold patch for the next 4 years, I think it is. So fantastic for Chelsea and stuff like that, and congrats to them. And how strange it was to see Trump there on the podium with them and stuff like that and all. But we'll talk about it and let me know in the chat what you think. Let me know what you thought of the World Club Cup. Were you following? Are you in on it? What did you think of it? All that kind of stuff. And where does it leave you thinking now with the World Cup coming up in America next year as well? And all your thoughts on that as well. We are going to talk a little bit of transfer news as well. And we're going to go through some stats as well that I pulled out. What the spend has been so far versus incomings and outgoings in the Premier League compared to previous years. And are we on track? Are we on track to potentially break the record, or are we on track to at least equal it, or whatever it is? We're going to have a look at the major incomings and outgoings from the clubs, what the record top 4 or 5 are and stuff like that as well, and give our thoughts on that. And any other business that pops up in the chat, basically, you're more than welcome to drop anything in there if you want me to talk about it and stuff like that. It is a solo show, so we won't be on too long. These ones are normally a little bit quicker as we do. But if you could, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, drop a like on the video. As always, you know the routine, folks. You don't need me to tell you. As always, the Monday show, whether he's here or not, whether the cuz is here or not, is always sponsored by Hogan Elite Trophy Hire. And then you see Marky there with some of the Leeds players. No doubt Marky would have been on to talk about the game. I believe it went really well. Man United Legends versus BlackRock Social Group. 11 up in Rock Celtic up in Dundalk. So Mark was up there at the weekend with the trophies and all, and spending lots of time with Yap Stam and Wes Brown and all the boys, Brian McLaren and all. And of course, don't forget to check out the interview we did last Monday with Brian McLaren, absolute cracker, a gent to have on. He's actually he's caught up at the moment in work. He has a wedding fit out for about 8 or 9 people or something like that. It's monstrous, and he's just stuck in work at the moment, so he probably won't make tonight. But all good, my friend, all good. Good to see you there the other day as well. Thanks for dropping in, Paul. So there we go. So what will we start with? I think what we start with, Hogan Elite Trophy, or sorry, I was in the middle of that. Got distracted. Facebook, Instagram, give it a follow, give it a like, give it a share, all that kind of stuff. If you have a requirement or a special occasion where you would like the trophies to be present at that, hit up Marky, let him know you're a subscriber to the upper tier, let him know that you're a regular watcher and contributor and all that kind of stuff, and Marky will look after you, no doubt about it. But go over, make sure you're supporting Marky, Hogan Elite Trophy Hire. Right, just back from the holidays. How did it go? Where did you go, Phil? Where were you? You were saying to me you were going somewhere. I can't remember now where you were saying. But listen, holidays are great. There's no better feeling than a holiday. Sure, can't wait. I'm having mine in September. Cannot wait. Right, folks, let's start with this yesterday. I have to say it was very surreal watching it. I was watching the game, and I seen how difficult it was. You could see how difficult it was for the lads. Where's my mouse gone? Mouse is doing its own thing here. Yeah, sorry. I was watching the game yesterday, and you could see how difficult it was for the lads being out there and stuff like that. And you could get that feeling that, like, everyone sung their hearts out. The minute's silence, everything that they did was absolutely impeccable. And hats off to Preston North End and the Deepdale faithful. They did an absolute fantastic job yesterday. It was absolutely stellar between the singing of "You'll Never Walk Alone" and the observing of the minute's silence and singing through. Once it hit the 20th minute, the singing of the songs, it must have went on for at least 10. Singing of the Algo song must have went on for about 10 minutes, and the Preston fans got involved as well. And it was really a beautiful moment. And I often say, and we say on these podcasts, when there's a little bit of tragedy and stuff like that, that when football comes together, sometimes it can produce some very special moments and stuff like that and all. So it was a real surreal occasion yesterday, but very, very difficult. You could see it in the players, even when they scored goals and stuff like that. Very, very difficult to celebrate and stuff like that. Looking at the game, I think the future is very bright. Looking at it, some of the young lads who played Rio out there on the left and all had an exceptional game. I thought Kerkez and Frimpong, when they came on, were absolutely outstanding. I thought Marmadashvili and Nets in the first half, I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Phil's in, yeah. Amsterdam and Berlin saw Green Day in Amsterdam. Legend. Love it, Phil. Hope you had a great time. And my man is in, Dino. Hey, yeah, mate. How are you, pal? Those things. Hope you're keeping well. I haven't heard from you for a few days. I've seen you in the chat earlier, but I haven't heard from you a few days. I hope you're keeping well, pal. Give us a buzz later if you want. Or yeah, but it was kind of a tough watch. Like when the first goal went in from Bradley, it was kind of like, what do I do here? This is a bit somber. Do I celebrate? What do I do? All that kind of thing. It was really, really difficult. But it's nice to kind of dust it off a little bit and kind of get back to football and probably some signs of normality for some of these guys. I know it's tough. They've gone back into pre-season training and there's this emptiness and this void over there that used to be filled with a guy called Diogo Jota. He was not there now, and obviously he was like central and focal to what a lot of these guys did and stuff like that. So it's kind of felt really, really weird. And then to see, hats off to Man United as well, Bruno and Diogo Dalot and Ruben Amorim came down and laid some flowers at that area for Diogo Jota as well. And even to see Alison yesterday going over and comforting Diogo's mum, who broke down, she just couldn't hold it in anymore. But to see the wife and the kids and the mother there and all the friends and family and everything else to visit that area. I mean, I seen a guy did a drone thing on it there the other day, and it's just ginormous. Like if anyone ever wanted confirmation of how much and how loved a guy was and a player was and how much he meant to the fans and to the club and everything else, that there is just, you could see it. And even the mural that's going up on the wall and stuff like that, and the way they did the bricks in black and everyone was able to sign it, write messages and all. And I'm sure as difficult as it was, it was a source of comfort for the mother and the wife and the kids to understand just how loved this guy was and stuff like that. And then the match yesterday, of course, was really, really, really cool and stuff like that. And hats off. I can't say it as much. I tweeted or I actually sent a message to Preston and all, thanking them for what they did and the Preston fans, and I wish them the best of luck in the season coming up and all that kind of stuff. They did an absolute stellar job in what can be a very difficult situation. So I thought it was really, really cool. I thought the game as well was really, really good as well. So much respect for Preston yesterday. Sean Maguire's wife with that beautiful rendition of "You'll Never Walk Alone." Yeah, it was outstanding. It was outstanding, but it was just a strange feeling, wasn't it? Like when the boys were playing and when they scored and all, like it was like, what did we do here, kind of thing. It felt weird. Thank you, good man, Phil. I think every game we play will be like yesterday. We'll never forget Diogo. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. There'll definitely be emotion there. And, especially when you think about it, when you go to play the likes of Wolves and stuff like that, where he previously played, or, that kind of thing will be really, really tough and stuff like that and all. But look, he's in our hearts, he's in our minds, he's forever in our memories and all that kind of stuff. And yourself, what doesn't tear us down galvanizes us and pushes us forward. And that's the main thing. I think a patch should be incorporated onto the new shirt to commemorate Jots. Yeah, I think there's probably talk of something like that, because obviously we haven't I think everyone is the worst kept secret, the three jerseys or whatever it is. So I'm sure they're probably looking at potentially maybe doing something before they release it. But yeah, it would be really, really cool. And I said to Ben, I ordered some jerseys there the other day, and I got Jota on the back and all for the season. So pretty cool. Big up, Baz. Baz was in me today, as always. My OG, my OG. Finding life a little overwhelming at the minute, bro. You know, just go into my shell. Days pass like minutes. I know, pal. I know. You know where I am. You know where I am. Miss and love you, though, bro. Absolutely. Likewise, pal. Likewise. But yeah, I just thought I'd take a moment to just mention that it must have been very, very tough. And I even mentioned it the other day when you seen the players walking out to put the flowers down where that area is and stuff like that and all, just to see even the players how tough it was. You could see it in their faces and all, So, but we'll move on, but we'll certainly never forget him and stuff like that. And it's a big season coming up. It's going to be absolutely massive, and it'll be interesting to see how it galvanizes the players and stuff like that. You know, maybe produce something really special this season in memory of Diogo Jota. There's no doubt about it. Right. Let's talk Chelsea. Chelsea now world champions. Who would have thought it? I did give them a bit of a chance for sure. I said it to Darren a few times. I said, would we be surprised? I know they had the easier side of the draw and stuff like that, but they were absolutely phenomenal yesterday against PSG. They absolutely tore PSG to shreds, and PSG really had no answer. The movement, Robert Sanchez, who would have known? Who would have known this keeper had it in him? Saving, point blank saves, saving from all their top players. His distribution was really good. He was finding players. Joe Felix, is it? Absolutely flying. What a signing he's going to be. And when you look at it, we'll talk about it in the transfer news as well. You look at the lap then came on. The lap had some really good chances only for Donnarumma. Anything could have happened, It was really, really unbelievable. But yeah, it was a phenomenal win for them, and what an occasion and stuff like that. And I have to say, with all the shade and shine that was taken off this tournament and stuff like that, and the shade thrown at it and all, I said to Dean last night, I sent him a message saying, you're one of the teams that went in there, you wanted to compete, you knew the financial rewards, and you took the competition really serious, and that's all you can do. And now they get to wear that beautiful gold badge in the middle of their jerseys for the next 4 years. And it's a phenomenal talk. Cole Palmer yesterday was outstanding. Caicedo again, Enzo. They're really, and I said it to Darren last night. I was talking to Darren last night on Messenger, and I was saying we did kind of predict that this year would be the year where this team matures and these younger players come alive and come of age and really start to show what they're about. And that's what we got to see yesterday. And I think, with a few more signings coming in and a couple of little pieces of jigsaw being put together and stuff like that, Chelsea are going to be a real threat this season, a real threat this season, one to really look out for, I have to say. So congratulations to Chelsea on becoming world club champions. And that moment with Reece James and Donald Trump when they're in the middle of the team, and I think Ivan Fastina or whatever his name is, the FIFA guy, he was calling Trump off the stage, and Trump just ignored him instead there. And he was standing beside Reece James, and I got that feeling, that John Terry moment. I was waiting on Trump to put on a jersey or something to get a medal and all. And the next thing, Reece James turns to him and goes, "Are we okay to go here? You staying here, yeah?" And he just up and went, and it was cool. And Trump was in the middle of it. Here he was like this and all, Then the next thing he kind of dissolved into the back of the team, and he was surrounded by the team and all. And it was the funniest thing and the weirdest thing at the same time, So it did make me smile, you know what I mean? So I thought it was funny, but congrats. Big win for them. Just goes to show you, if you have faith and you believe in your manager and if you stick to your guns and you have a plan, and even though it doesn't seem very obvious to people, both Chelsea fans and ourselves as outsiders, what this plan was and the amount of young players that were being signed and all. But it looks like it could bear fruit now, that's for sure. Gonna get Lewis the new shirt with Jota 20 on the back, have him singing the song now, bro. Class. Forever our number 20. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, hats off to Chelsea. So there we go. So let's get in. Let's talk some League of Ireland, and then you should stay on, Dino, because we've got the FAI Cup draw as well, and the games that are coming up from Friday through to Sunday. So Crumlin are involved and stuff like that. We will be talking about it. So let's start. Obviously, Bows, they were the halftime scores, by the way. It finished up 2-0 to Waterford against Cork full time. I don't know why I have halftime up there. Bows winning 3-0. The goals after the break by James Taylor and 2 by Clark on 61, I think it is, and 72. Bows running out 3-0 winners and slightly closing that gap there with games in hand up to 41 now, potentially moving on to 44. They can win the other game in hand. So there'll be 5 in it, so not quite as comfortable as it seemed. Now, I still don't think Rovers will relent, because they are relentless when it comes to this, especially when you're getting into this stage of the season and stuff like that as well. They just hammer it. But really, really impressive out there. Interesting scenes down at Waterford as well. Cork fans not one bit happy at all. Jumping barriers and going out and confront the management, and confront the players, and letting them know how they felt about it and stuff like that. And rightly so. Cork this season have been an absolute shambles. Let's get into Division 1. I watched a really great game the other night. Bray Wanderers 2-0 against Dundalk. Really good game. First half, kind of Wanderers riding their luck a little bit, but not too good either in their playing stuff, a lot of disjointment and stuff like that. Got a penalty on the verge of half time, slotted that penalty home to go in 1-0 up. As you would expect, Dundalk came out, Bray weathered the storm. Wanderers keeper really done really well and stuff like that. But Bray down the flanks and stuff like that were cause of trouble for Dundalk constantly and stuff like that. Dundalk with a couple of good chances that they missed, and Bray ended up wrapping it up. Bishop, I think the boy got the goal in the 93rd minute, I think it was, to seal the deal 2-0. A huge win, and it felt like a huge win. You could hear it on commentary as well. This was so important to keep things going, you know, as we often say. Sometimes when it seems out of reach, you just got to keep it going and stuff like that and plug away at it. But these are the matches between Cove and Bray and Dundalk are going to be vital in terms of this table this year. As you can see, Dundalk on 49 there. Cove would have been a little bit disappointed, obviously losing 2-1 to Treaty. They had an opportunity. They could have closed the gap to a point if they had picked up the win there. UCD with a big win, 3-1 against Finn Harps, moving UCD up into 5th, just behind Treaty on goal difference. And Wexford drew 0-0 with Athlone Town. But things starting to tighten up slightly in the tables to make it that bit more interesting as we move towards, you know, coming out of the summer and into the run. And you'll see some of the teams there, especially in the Premier Division, some of those teams will be getting stuck into kind of Europe down the road here as well. And we obviously have the start of the FAI Cup as well that we're going to talk about momentarily. Hopefully, Bows can win a game in hand and keep it decent. Delighted for us, your boys, Bray. Love them to go back up. Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, Bows released, did you see that lovely jersey, Dino, that Bows released, the Oasis one? Looks class. Their timing on things is just exquisite. And I think it's related to a couple of charities as well. There's one in Manchester and one here in Ireland as well. So all the proceeds are going to that. So that's pretty cool as well. So, but I like the idea, but the Oasis one is the real old school one. It's blue with the Oasis in the middle and stuff like that. Looks class. You know, even if you weren't a Pose fan, you'd buy it. Just looks like a cool jersey, to be honest, you know. Where am I going next? I'm going to talk FAI Cup. So we have it here coming up on Friday. All these kickoffs, folks, are 7:45, with the exception of Rovers, who are playing Wexford at Tallaght Stadium. That's kicking off at 8 o'clock, which I would assume is the TV game. But coming down through it, then a good one for me on Friday. I'm going to try and get to this game because this is as local derby as you get. Bray Wanderers are taking on Wayside Celtic at the Carlisle grounds. An absolutely fantastic draw. And I probably head to that game actually because I would no doubt a number of old workmates and teammates will probably be workmates and schoolmates, I should say, will probably be at that game. So it might be good to catch up and have a little chat and stuff like that and a few beers or something. So looking forward to Bray Wanderers versus Wayside Celtic. Got to convince Ben to go with me on Friday. Cork City are taking on Leicester Celtic at Turner's Cross. This is a big game for Cork as well. They need to spring back, do something in the Cup here. The league has been an absolute disaster. So we'll see what happens there. Drogheda United coming up against Dino's also. Crumlin United at Sullivan and Lamb Park. Drogheda United versus Crumlin United. Dundalk are taking on Sligo Rovers at Oriel Park. We have Finnharps versus UCD at Finn Park. Galway United versus Talca Rovers at Eamon DC Park. Kerry versus Athlone at Mount Hawk Park. Killester Donacarney versus Bohemians at Dalymount Park. Treaty United versus Derry City Markets Field. And Waterford versus St. Moctus at the RSC. Shamrock Rovers, as I said, versus Wexford at Tallaght Stadium, 8 o'clock. That rounds out your Friday night fixtures. It's a cracker. Bows always have a nice kit, meaning behind it. They released the video with Paul's hair in the old school snooker hall. Yeah, it was absolutely cool. Really, really cool. They always do a great job on that stuff. Then we get into Saturday. So you've got Salt Hill Devon versus St. Michael's Drum at 2 o'clock. These are the Saturday fixtures. Bangor Celtic versus Cove Ramblers at the Transport Club at 3. Fairview Rangers versus Shelbourne at Singland Park at 6 o'clock. All spread out that day as well. And then we round it out with Sunday, 2 fixtures. Castlebar Celtic versus Longford Town at Celtic Park at 5 o'clock. And at 6 o'clock, we have St. Pat's versus UCC at Richmond Park. And that rounds out your FAI Cup. But certainly Friday night, absolutely packed. Isaiah will be goals galore. And Isaiah would send out that should be a really interesting evening of Irish football. They're coming up this Friday night, starting at 7:45. Like I said, Rovers at Tallaght Stadium at 8 o'clock versus Wexford is the only 8 o'clock game of Friday. So there we go. But I'll hopefully be at Bray Wanderers versus Wayside Celtic. That is the plan as we speak right now. Right, I wanted to talk about the window, the transfer window, and how it's going at the moment. And if you look at it at the minute, I was looking there at 24, we go back, 22-23 was 2.1 billion spent. 23-24 was 2.5 billion spent. And 24-25, which was last season, was 2.1. And so far this season, we're on 1.3. Now, that's due to climb because there was a number of here we goes today and yesterday and stuff like that probably hasn't been factored into this yet. So it could be more up around the 1.4, 1.5 at this stage. With about 6-7 weeks to go in the transfer window, still plenty of business to do. So I would imagine at a minimum, it's going to reach the heavy heights of last season. But whether it will break that record of 2.5 billion, I think is the record, which is 23-24. Whether it hit the 2.5, I'm not too sure. But still a lot of clubs with a lot of business to do. But there's a lot of pieces that have to move around in this transfer window jigsaw at the moment for other pieces to fall and stuff like that. So we'll see. We'll talk about them shortly. In terms of spending, Chelsea is leading the spending at the moment. Liverpool is in second. Man City is in third. Spurs are in fourth. But Spurs are about to. They have kudos. And also, depending what happened there after releasing the court papers were served today. The legal papers, weren't they, between Spurs and Nottingham Forest over Morgan Gibbs White. They reckon there was a breaking of an NDA there on the release clause. So could present a problem and may or may not happen. But Spurs fans the other day, 2 here we goes in the space of a couple of hours. They were absolutely buzzing. Levy was getting put up on a statue. Interestingly enough, and I know this is obviously a little bit out of date, obviously, because Arsenal, I would imagine now, after confirming the defender today, and also Victor Gyökeres looks like he's going to be confirmed as well, £54 million or something like that, plus add-ons or something. So Arsenal will just come a little bit above. Sunderland, the one we were talking about the other night with Darren on Thursday, how they've gone under the radar and signed a few players. We're up at 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth. Arsenal were in 6th, but I would imagine Arsenal will leapfrog Sunderland once those two are confirmed. But Sunderland's still looking to do bits, and it's as I said to Darren the other night on the show, it's really, really encouraging to see a team come up and wanting to speculate some money to try and stay in the Premier League, not just take the money and be defeatist and acceptance like what Norwich used to do, just take the money, go back down, not care and stuff like that. No. But no doubt this is going to change a lot. Chelsea still probably with players do. We certainly still have business to do. I'd imagine Man City probably still have some business to do. Definitely Spurs, Sunderland doing bits. Arsenal may top out of those two, but they may have one or two other bits. They are linked with other players. They're definitely still looking at that left wing area. And we heard word today there might be a deal for Trossard to Fenerbahce, I think it is, but we'll look at it in a few minutes on the transfer stuff. United is a kind of a precarious one at the moment. I think they'll get the Mbeumo deal done. They're going on tour this Sunday. I think they head out on tour to the stateside, I think it is. They'll want Mbeumo with them for that, so they're going to have to try and figure out and get that deal done. Just get it figured out with Brentford and be done with it. It's going on too long now. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I think United's transfer plan is going to hinge a lot on outgoings and stuff like that, and that's becoming real problematic at the moment because it doesn't look like a lot of clubs have a lot of appetite to, obviously Anthony, he looks like he had a good, season there at Betis and stuff like that, put himself in the shop window. So no doubt there would be interest in him. I think Sancho's not relenting on the wages. Marcus Rashford is, showing his backside basically the Barca constantly and stuff like that. But I think some of these might cement down into loan deals, which won't help United, who are probably hoping to generate, I would imagine, probably close to 200 million in sales to give Amarin the budget that he needed to do what he wants to do and stuff like that. Obviously, we're hearing Onana now with a hamstring injury. He's going to be out for maybe 5 to 8 weeks, so he's certainly going to miss the start of the season. Probably won't go on the tour in the States either. So they're going to have to shape up there and figure out something there as well in terms of goalkeeping. Or are they going to start out with being there? Or I know Tom Heaton's in there as well. What is their plan on the goalkeeping situation and stuff? So there we go. If you look at the signings at the moment, obviously Florian Wirtz is the most expensive signing, followed by Mateus Cunha, followed by João Pedro. It looks like calling him Joe Felix earlier. João Pedro was his name, yeah. And Anthony Elanga to Newcastle, Kudus to Spurs, and Gittins to Chelsea. There, Zubamendi then comes under that as well. So there you're kind of top 6, 7 or whatever it is. Big money being spent at the moment, and I didn't think some of these names would attract that kind of money. You look at Anthony Elanga, who had a very good season in Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, 55 million. Big money, Joe Pedro, 60 million. Cunha, 62.5. Gittins, 51.5. Reinders for Man City, 46.3. Zubamendi, 51 million. Now, when you think about it, Zubamendi was 4 million cheaper than Anthony Elanga. Like, it's the money is crazy, absolutely crazy. On the outgoing sides, obviously the biggest one is obviously Mateus Cunha and Wolves heading to Man United. João Pedro from Brighton heading to Chelsea, 60 million. Elanga's next Kudus. Dean Huijsen, obviously Bournemouth went off for 50 million to Real Madrid, and of course we took Milos Kerkez from Bournemouth for 40 million as well to Liverpool. So some interesting ones. Jarell Konsa in there, 35 million. So it's been a real interesting first number of weeks of the transfer window. So I did want to have a look. I'll come back to your comments now in a second. Did want to have a look at what's out there at the moment in transfers and what impact it has. Does it connect to other stuff? So where am I? Yeah, we did that one, didn't we? Some serious business being done with the window, with exception for United, but the league's going to be fire next season. Yeah, it's going to be unbelievable, isn't it? When you see what they're bringing in. Aces United are completely fucked. They certainly look like that from the outside, don't they? They look like they're just, from what I can tell, and I'm talking with Darren as well, this looks like it's not an FFP issue. It's not a, PSR issue. This is, we have no cash flow issue. And I think that's a real problem. And I don't know how they resolve that unless unless Ratcliffe is in a position to inject money in. I know they can put in over a 3-year period. Is it 90 million or something? I don't know whether they have an appetite for that or whether he's done it already or what's happened and stuff like that. And I know they've had some huge outflows as well, because I know a number of transfer fees were maturing to be paid this summer. I think it was a big number. I think it was over 200 million when I read it. It was a big number that they had to find as well. So that should be it. That should be interesting. But United's going to be one of those interesting ones to keep an eye on. So, and also you can see they're being linked heavily at the moment now with a lot of free transfers and stuff like that. So you've seen them linked with Calvert-Lewin, you've seen them linked with Vardy, Callum Wilson, all these free ones and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's going to be really, really interesting to see what they do. I think United's transfer window, I think they'll get Mbeumo over the line and he'll go away on the tour with them. I think that's as much as they'll get done this side of the tour. And then I think after that, it's kind of like, it's going to be helter-skelter for them then when they come back and stuff like that. There's him. Will Henderson come back to England after leaving? No, he actually is. Yeah, he's already, hasn't he signed, isn't he? He's lined up. He was originally touted that he was going to go to Sunderland, but I think it's Brentford, isn't it? Yeah, Brentford Acers, yeah. With us, it feels like Diogo passing has put a pause. Yeah, absolutely. I was only talking about it the other day with Darren. I think what happened is, I think the club just said, I'm sure they put anything that they were working on business, they just said to people, listen, blokes, but what's happened, we're just going to put the pause button on this because this is not the time to be announcing good news in the club, obviously, with what happened with Diogo and stuff like that and the tragedy that it was. So I'd say everyone just down tools for that week to 10 days or whatever it is. Take a moment, take a breather, digest everything that's going in, deal with the tragedy of that, which whatever way you have to do. And I'm sure some of these people needed help and stuff like that to come to terms with it and stuff like that, But now I think once some of that has kind of being dealt with, to see the team back out there playing yesterday as well. I think this week you'll see some movement and stuff like that. And you can see where some of the links have been and stuff like that. And you see Newcastle there have stepped up. I think they lodged a bid today with Frankfurt for Hugo Ekitike, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think it's 60 plus they put in and stuff like that. So the question is, are they bidding on Hugo Ekitike with a view of bringing him in because do they know something about Alexander Isak? Now, there was supposed to be a meeting this week at some stage between Eddie Howe and Alexander Isak to explain where his thinking is and what he wants to do. And the talk is he was going to turn around and he was going to explain to Eddie Howe that he wants to leave and he wants to go to Liverpool. I don't think Newcastle really want to sell him to a Premier League club and strengthen a Premier League club. That was the issue, I think, for Newcastle, stuff like that. But we'll see. It may happen. Let's see how it goes. Dino, what do you see happening with Diaz? I think it's an interesting one as well. I think he'll probably go. I think they'll figure out a deal with Bayern Munich. Also Barcelona, obviously, but see, Barcelona at the moment are interested in Rashford. So him and Diaz kind of in that same position. I'd say the problem there is they're probably looking to squeeze United to get Rashford maybe on loan or something like that. So what that tells me is they ain't got the shekels then to make the move for Diaz, which is going to cost you 60, 70 million or whatever it is. Now, we've always had good relations with Barcelona and stuff like that. I know we had a little bit of trouble getting some of the money out of them for Coutinho at that time, but that was when Barca were they were in a real sticky patch and stuff like that between the Spotify stuff and all that stuff. But we'll see. My guess is he probably ends up at Bayern Munich. Kind of getting the feeling, and let me know what you think in the chat as well. Kind of getting the feeling, is Darwin going to stay? I wonder if Darwin going to stay. And I seen me links today with Mateta as well of Crystal Palace. I'm not too upset at that at all. I hear people coming out going, oh, this, that, the other. No. That guy is a monster. I was at that Palace game 2 seasons ago, the one where we had the drop off and they beat us. That guy absolutely tortured Konate and Virgil van Dijk. Absolutely tortured them the whole game. Darren will tell you, we were sitting in the Anfield Road end and we were right on top of it. And I was looking at him. He was aggravating Konate the whole game, even when the ball wasn't anywhere near him. He was giving Konate absolute shit. And Canate was so uncomfortable that eventually he kind of palmed him off to Virgil. And Virgil was nearly as uncomfortable with him as well, you know what I mean? So I think he'd be a clever signing, and I wonder what it would take to get him out of Palace. I don't think it would be huge. I think he's 27 now. Is he 27, 28? He could be a monster, like, you know what I mean? Like, let's see what happens. But I think the idea is I think he'd probably go to Munich. I see there Luka Modric as well as after signing a 1-year contract with AC Milan. It's so interesting, isn't it, when you see these players come out like that? You've Luka Modric there, and you think he could do a fine job for a Premier League side, you know? Especially if you look at a Premier League side that has a lot of young players in there and stuff like that, you know, that you could walk out with Luka Modric up on your side. Imagine the experience of training and everything you get out of. Like, money couldn't buy you that, you know what I mean? But off to AC Milan anyway. Nicholas Jackson, we have to talk about Nicholas Jackson at Chelsea as well. His future is uncertain, apparently, amid interest from multiple clubs. Obviously, with Pedro and Delap arriving. There's kind of three of them there, really, isn't there? So the question is, and I suppose with Jackson as well, he hasn't endeared himself greatly as of recent times and stuff like that. I kind of like him as a player. I think he's a big physical kind of guy and stuff like that. I think just in those key moments, you know that key pressure moment and stuff, he just has a brain fart that goes brain dead at it and stuff like that. But you know, in terms of his physicality and his movement and his link-up play and his hold-up play and stuff like that and all, he's decent, like, you know, he's not poor, like. But yeah, just there's obviously some issues there as well. He's obviously he comes across at the moment as if he's kind of pissed off, and that's why some of these things are happening. You know, getting sent off there in the World Club Cup and stuff like that, and all, just having these crazy moments and stuff like that and all. But I could probably see him being one that moves away, and I wonder could he get tied up in the deal, because I know Chelsea were looking at Garnacho at one stage, so I wonder would they do something there. Ex-United player Dan James, playing for Leeds, signs a new long-term contract with Leeds as well, so that should be interesting as well. Touchy Acers, how the hell we get rid of the scrap there, legends? The Bobby Charn be rolling in his grave. It's a septic tank of pretentious prima donna makers. There we go. Big up, Spider. I hope you're well, my friend. I seen your video the other day on Jota Pal. You know, I felt the same emotion as well, Paul. It does bring you to tears and stuff like that. And I seen it. I watched your TikTok video. Tough, man, tough, and even tougher, isn't it? When your father's like us as well, Dino as well, me, you, and stuff like that. It's tough when you're a dad as well. You know what I mean? And to be so young and stuff like that. No, but I hope you're doing well, pal. We'll catch up. We'll catch up before the season kicks off. No doubt about it. Aces, nobody are going to pay 200 million for Isaac. No, and I don't think it'll take 200 million to make it happen. Here's the man in. The roll me is in. How are you, my friend? Don't forget tomorrow night, folks, Pro Wrestling Weekly as well. We're going to be doing a review of all the weekend's wrestling action. And what a weekend of wrestling action it was. All in, quality. Saturday night's main event, awesome. And then Evolution and everything else. We'll do Raw and all. So it should be a good show tomorrow night. Brent might have the full complement back. I'm not sure if Sean's still on holidays or not, but if he is, you'll definitely have three of us anyway. And we've got so much to go through. There's so much to talk about and all. And it was a quality weekend if you're a professional wrestling fan, that's for sure. And how you fixed on that Canate situation? We're waiting on you to throw us a few bob for Canate there so we can move on Mark Gahey. So will you have a word with Perez over there and tell him to write the check there and give us a decent amount of money for Canate, and you can have him now. And sounds like he's going to be Mark Gahey. He's going to go in there. So this is what I was talking about. A lot of these things are just kind of linked, waiting on things to happen. You know, Bayern is such a step backwards in my opinion. If he goes, who would you like to replace him? Well, there's a number of people going there. I mean, the obvious one is Rodrigo, isn't it? If he's surplus to requirements at Real Madrid. But there's one that I spoke about before that I wouldn't be too upset about, and it's one that's coming here after the Dan James contract. We know that Brighton at the moment are very interested in Harvey Elliott, and we know that they've put a price tag on Matoma. who I think is an absolute baller. And I think if we had him on our left wing, I think that would be sensational. But there's talk of kind of a swap deal plus money and stuff like that. I know Brighton are valuing Matoma at about 80 million, which I think it's excessive. I think it's excessive, but not unusual for Brighton. But I think you might be able to get a deal done there. You might go Harvey. The talk of Harvey at 40 when we read it last week. Maybe Harvey goes in there and you throw maybe 15 or 20 with Harvey, and Michael Edwards works his miracles that he normally does, and we get Matoma out of there. Now, these are always, don't quote me on this, these are always very difficult deals to do. These swap deals, we see they rarely happen and stuff like that. But Matoma's a baller. He'd be interesting on the wing as well. And I have to say, the boy Rio yesterday, he was sensational yesterday. Absolutely brilliant. Running at people, turning them inside out, shooting, passing, link-up play, the whole lot. These young lads we have coming through at the moment now, maybe we need to look deeper. We've often pushed the trigger on the likes of a Stevie or these younger players and stuff like that, Michael Owen and stuff like that. Maybe it's time we give some of these guys a chance, because that Rio boy yesterday, he looked a proper baller. If you ask for a point from Spotify FC, they would argue top water. No ice, yeah, absolutely. How good was, that's what I'm talking about yesterday. He was incredible, wasn't he? And that's the thing, isn't it? Nobody will pay 100 million for Isaac either. Not worth it. I'd rather get Akatiche or Fofana, Malik, or keep Darwin and grab Mateta. 28 of me thinks, absolutely, that's the way it's going at the moment, isn't it? I mean, even the price that Frankfurt have put on Ekatike, like, it's just gigantic, But the market has gone crazy. Look at what players are going for at the moment. The market has gone insane. Arsenal look like they've tied down Victor. 73.5 million euros is the talk. I read today it was 54 million pounds plus add-ons or something like that. So we'll see what it comes in on. And then they're talking about with Madueke going in there as well. Maybe the green light is lit. Trossard has been linked with a move to Fenerbahce in a deal worth 20 million. Lads, Leandro Trossard at 20 million, even as a squad player, is a steal. Why is he going to Fenerbahce? Why aren't Premier League teams earning for Leandro Trossard to kickstart his career again? He's always looked a miserable bastard at Arsenal anyway, you know what I mean? But if you could reignite the Brighton Trossard that us as Liverpool fans know well, because he tied us up in knots a number of times. But if you could get him for 20 million, what a squad player Trossard could be if you get him in. If you get him in the right environment and stuff like that and all, and you get him happy playing his ball and stuff like that. But Leandro Trossard is he's a baller, so surprised at that. I think Mateta is a fantastic signing if we can't get Isaac. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, we've seen what he can do. Luka Modric, I thought that goal would have went to the MLS. Yeah, no, AC Milan. He went to. Maybe he feels he's a bit more to do and stuff like that and all, So we shall see. Where are we? Liverpool interest in signings. Yeah, Mateta, 45 million. I think we'll want him. I think at 28 we'll want him cheaper than that. That's what I would think. Spoke about Nunes today. I could see him staying. Could be a huge season for him. Maybe he uses losing Jota as a huge fire in the belly. That and the haircut. Oh, remember Mo shaved his head last season, bald out. Could we have Nunes? I seen a thing on Twitter today, actually, or on X, and it was Nunes with the head shave. Could he ball out this season? And then for next season, 26-27, I had a picture of Virgil van Dijk there with the head shaved as well, balling out, So who knows? Who knows? Could be crazy. If we ever seen a player who ran like the cake their trunks, it's Miss Jackson. Yeah, absolutely. Napoli won't pay Darwin's money. Yeah, no, they backed out of the deal already. They've distanced themselves from the deal. I don't think I wouldn't like the same. Although getting the money in and the cash injection stuff like that, I don't really want to see Darwin Núñez going to Saudi. You know what I mean? I still think Darwin Núñez, if Darwin Núñez just finds a way to be happy in football again, and balling out and stuff like that. He can be unbelievable. Let's not act like this guy can't play football. Let's not go there. That's not the case. Unai Emery's keeping tabs on Botafogo goalkeeper John Victor. Obviously, Unai had the scouts out at the World Club Cup. Available for $6 million is the release clause, apparently, for the former Brazil under-17 international's contract. Now, that should be something there. That should be something maybe that United are looking at and say, if they go for Emi Martinez, Aston Villa are looking for a wedge for him and stuff like that. So this is where they should be looking. Bright, young, up-and-coming keeper and stuff like that. Maybe that's the way to go. And he looked really good in the World Club Cup as well. So, Emery doing bits. Everton apparently have entered the race as well for Johan Bakayoko. I've heard Spider talking about him before, and I know Darren has spoken about him before. Apparently, Leipzig, Leverkusen, Everton, and Forest and Bournemouth have all called to open discussions. Request, they're talking about 20 million plus add-ons. That's a great price. I don't think you're going to get him for that. I think he's going to cost more than that, but we shall see. It depends where he is in his contract and stuff like that. Big up, Ryan. Hope you're good, my friend. Don't forget, Thursday we're going to be doing the show with Darren, and it's the kit show. It's one of our favourite shows we do in the year. It's where we go and we take a look at all the new kits for the new season, stuff like that. And we come to a consensus on what our top 3 kits are. And I have to say, we were quite divided the other day. Me and him were talking the other day. Palace, who always produce lovely kits. I wasn't sold on the kit this year. I think the kit this year is a bit disappointing. Darren said he likes it, but we'll say come Thursday, join us for that kit show. It's always a bit of fun. Ryan, I would say your new kit is in the running. Looks the part. Really, really looks the part. But let me know. Mallow looked great yesterday in comparison to last year. Looks much bigger and stronger. Yeah, absolutely. And that kid, that other keeper as well. What's his name? Foreman as well. Is it? He looked really good yesterday as well. Sorry, Nallo. Yes, Nallo. Yeah, Mallow. That's the country in it coming out. That's the country. Yeah, Nallo. Yeah. Niall already offered 2 weeks in Benidorm and a case of dragon soup for Canate, but Linda Henry is more of a Hamas girl. So we are back to the negotiating table. Absolutely. Well, it's on balls on you the other day. What was the offer the other day? Between 20 and 25 or something like that? Come on. You gave us 10 million for Trent for 10 days. The least you could do is give us something. I'll offer 2 tickets to Black Sabbath for Isaac, but they want a case of brown ale thrown in. That could be the deal. That could be the deal that does it. Matoma will be quality. Never thought of him. One thing true, the names linked with us are very exciting. Yeah, a lot of people don't think they sleep on Matoma and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But you watch him play, the way he plays and stuff, and the way he links up stuff and all, and the creation and stuff like that and all. Imagine him feeding in there, and his verts around him. Salah will be there. You'd have McAllister on that side. Who's on that side? Kerkez, is it? Kerkez. You'd have an Andy Robinson. I don't know what the plan is for Costas or Robbo at this stage, but those guys in there. Imagine Matoma stepping up from Brighton into Liverpool and stuff like that, and what a player he would be and stuff like that, But that could be the way to go. I'd have Trossard all day. Yeah, 20 million. 20 million. Get all over it. Get all over it. You need a squad, folks. You need a squad. This is what people always look at these things and they go, oh yeah, starting 11. But they don't actually look at it and go, well, actually, no, we need kind of that 20. You know what I mean? And where he would fit in. And you see him in there and stuff like that. He just looks like a miserable fucker at Arsenal. You know what I mean? I mean, him and I know there's been a kind of a semi falling out with him and Arteta. They don't see eye to eye. But I think if you get him in there, we seen him at Brighton. We know he do. That player is still in there. There's no doubt about it. But at that price, absolutely. I'll take Matoma. That's a saucy left and right wing. Yeah, absolutely. The new Japanese Yakuza lads, yeah. Tell you, absolutely. There, Andy Carroll signed for Dagenham and Redbridge. Thought he finished playing football, yeah. I have to say, he looks the image of Edge as well. Did you see his interview the other day? People thought he was Edge. Yeah, no, he looked the part and stuff like that. Now, the interview was really cool, the way he spoke about it and stuff like that. He talked about football and all that kind of thing and stuff like that. Andy Carroll there. So mad to think he's still gone when you think about that move when Torres went and then he came in and he was like, what a player he was for Newcastle. Then he came into us. Nunes looking like Jake Gyllenhaal from Jarhead. Yeah, he's gone Prison Break 6. Prison Break 6. There we go. Darwin looked like a fella that works for Los Polos Hermanos yesterday. Yeah, fella turned full Puerto Rican. Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah, absolutely. It was like Schofield or Burroughs out of Prison Break or something like that. You know, he was. Yeah, he looked the part. I tell you, he didn't play decent as well. Wasn't too shabby either. Fairness. Apparently, last time Nunes shaved his head, he scored 37 in 65 games. There you go. There you go. More aerodynamic, you see. Credit to Modric, still believes he can do it and didn't take easy option. Yeah, absolutely. Romy, even Ferguson looks like he's off to Roma. Good place for him to regain his form. And then Italian babes, the man is living the dream. Yeah, 100%. Where are we? I picked up a few Real Madrid merch today, Noel. The price shocked me. I was about to flash my nips on OF to fund it. Yeah, the kits are pricey, my friend. The kits are pricey. But we do have a link. We do have a hookup. I think Matoma is a big fish in a small pond. Yeah, I think so. For me, absolutely, I'd be over that all day. Mad Matoma, before he went to Brighton, was on his way to Celtic. Yeah, well, look at Celtic. Celtic are amazing within that Asian market, aren't they? Like the way they uncover stars and stuff like that. They just find ballers all the time. Andy Carroll looks like he's in the brown oil. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Carroll is doing his career backwards, went from big clubs to small clubs. Yeah, absolutely crazy. But I tell you, good to see him. Good to see him and good to see him smiling and interested in football and all that kind of stuff and all. How we see here, we have some new posts coming in here now at the moment. Mosquera has confirmed Valencia departure amid Arsenal interest, so he's off to Arsenal. Big lad, that guy. Big lad, isn't he? Big lad. What are you talking about? Did a bid worth 13 million turned down? They're valuing him at 25 million, so probably got him for 20. Villa have dropped a player back has joined RB Leipzig. Costa Neljevic. Not a whole lot going on there. And Buemo and Visa return to training amid transfer interest. Interesting. I know Brentford had said they didn't want to lose both of them. So is this just a timing thing? What's going to happen? Who's going to be the quickest to get the job done, really? You know what I mean? Spider. I'm off board, must jump on with you one night. Moving house at the mall and building a new studio, so we'll get you down sometime for a live table show. Absolutely, yeah, we'll have a bit of crack, bud. Absolutely. Let me know when you want me to jump on, or if you want to jump on, we'll do a show. We'll definitely do like a pre-season stuff, prediction thing and stuff like that, and I'll have a bit of crack. Absolutely. Just hit me up whenever you need me. And good luck with the move. One of the most stressful things you can do in your life is move house. So I hope it's going smooth for you, pal, and stuff like that. Hope the new place is cool, because I know the old studio was class. I heard Arsenal are in for a new player by the name of Zuba Mendy. Yeah, done and dusted. Anything else in here? Any interesting? Villa lost a goalkeeper. Captain Carney extends stay at Craven Cottage. Tom Carney. Not a whole lot in there, Barda. Borough looking for a deal, actually. Borough looking to bring Danny Ings in. That would be quite the move for Borough. That'd be a big move for them. Interesting to see. Not too sure whether that would happen or not. And Real Madrid confirmed Carrera's signing. Alvaro from Benfica. That's for you, Romy. And we spoke earlier about, obviously, Dan James signed a new long-term deal at Leeds. So we'll see how that goes. I think that's about it. So I suppose the interesting thing is obviously the big one coming out at the moment is Newcastle have put in a bid apparently for Ekitike. And does that signal, is there a movement in the Isaac situation or something like that? Or is it just are they planning maybe for an exit next season or something like that? Who knows? But we shall keep an eye. Yeah, man, I'm free most days anyway. Building a large pub with a studio in the middle of it offside the house. What good luck. Oh, I tell you, man. Sounds class. Sounds class. Zubamendi goes from mountains in Spain for tent city in London. He'll get homesick and real quick. That's my thinking. My thinking on that is, will he actually settle? I think he might have problems. So but we will see. What do you think of the nonsense with Sancho? Yeah, it's just a bit. Sometimes I get the feeling with these guys. I look at that ball, that little cohort there. You've got Rashford, Sancho, not so much Anthony, but Anthony's obviously grouped in there. Malacia is obviously in there now because he returned, but I think you'll find a home for him, I would imagine. And Garnacho. And you kind of get the feeling, are these boys hanging around, smelling out the place, kind of waiting for Amarin to be sacked or something like that, so they can slide back in there and wind their way back in with the new manager if a new manager comes in, if that happens. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's so weird. It's so weird. You would have thought these boys, especially like you're coming into a season where you're coming up to a World Cup, you would have thought these boys would all want to be balling out. We've said it before, Ted, haven't we? I don't think these guys like football anymore. I think it's all about image and social media and all that kind of stuff. It's really, really strange. Really, really strange. Alvaro, lovely jubbly. I need to pick me up after the 4-0 slapping by PSG. Yeah, absolutely. And Niall, he'll be home before the Spanish omelette is cooked. Yeah, absolutely. I tell you, there will be, culturally, that will be a big change for that boy. Coming from where he came from to the depths of London and stuff like that and all. It'll be interesting adjustment. Like you're getting a transfer and you were saying you won't take it. You won't take it. You aren't paid the wages you'd be foregoing. Yeah. And then he wants this. Have you ever heard the likes of it? He wants, what's it, a $4.5 million severance package to make up for the loss in earnings of the wages and stuff like that and all. And I'm just thinking, and I know in previous times United would have an appetite for that and they would go, yeah, just get this fucker out of here kind of thing, you know what I mean? But that's a really bad look, So I think if you start paying people severance packages, you know what I mean? Look, can you imagine Rashford? Rashford will be on the door next day. Yeah, my severance package. Anthony, my severance package. Garnacho, it'd be fucking insane. Like if you open up that well, and especially at a time where you're so cash strapped, not profit, cash strapped, So interesting. Trump interview on the zone before kickoff was interesting. Yeah. He's a man who wears many hats, isn't he? Hey, Noel, do you think Liverpool will get more signings in before the first Premier League game? Absolutely. I fully expect us to get in. Well, I fully expect us to sell a few players, and I fully expect us to get in some players. Certainly, we need a forward player anyway too. After the tragedy and stuff like that, there's an opening there, and it's unfortunate as it is and stuff like that. I think definitely we'll be potentially looking at a left-sided forward if Diaz exits. A lot of this is dependent on who exits the building. If Diaz goes, we'll bring a player in. I still think one of maybe Costas or Robbo might leave the building. I think Robbo will say probably Costas might move. I'd say Harvey will probably move, but he might be able to get caught up in a deal. As I said, it'll be a tough one. They might want to handle them as two separate deals. It might not be a swap deal or something like that. So I'd say he'll probably move on. I don't think there's a huge amount still to be done. We need to get a forward in and we need to decide what that is. What's our plan? Who's out there and stuff like that. I think, I'm not against Mateta coming in from Crystal Palace. But I don't think that's the ideal solution if we're out in the market. You could easily see Rodrigo coming in. Potentially, we've been linked to him. We've had conversations with him. If the Diaz move happens, um, it'll all depend on things like that. If Canate potentially, if there's a deal to be done there with Real Madrid, he's made it very clear he's out of the building next season anyway. So they'll probably try and do a deal this summer. I get the feeling he'll probably go for. We might get 35 off them or something like that. We'll throw 15 on top of that then, and we'll get Gay out of Palace. So that'll be kind of nearly like a like for like. So that should be okay. But we probably need another central defender in as well. So obviously with Kwanzaa going out of the building, I think Nat Phillips went out of the building as well. We're going to need cover in those areas as well. Other than that, I don't think we have a huge amount to do. I think we've done a lot of business already. It's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. I said to Greg, if that Sancho stand on it, tell him we aren't paying his wages if he leaves, and if that means he stays straight into the first team training to get his career ended. Yeah, it's so difficult. Jota will be missed. I still remember his winning goal to sick in Brazil, Pigeon Richarlison. Yeah, what a goal! What a goal! Look. There's just some things, Sometimes the difficulty is when we're in the height of it in the season and stuff like that. There's certain things we don't get to cherish enough, and Diogo Jota is one of those. And certainly, if you look at the outpouring over the last week and stuff like that, absolutely beloved and honoured by the club, going to pay out the contract, going to set up a fund for the kids, retiring the jersey, everything you would expect from Liverpool Football Club and more. It's absolutely the reaction has been sensational, which goes to show what he meant to people and stuff like that. Such a sad thing. And we still see fucking Egypt today on social media sharing the pictures and stuff like that from the crash and stuff like that. It's fucking desperate. Clowns. Called Sky Sports out on it as well the other day, talking about who was the driver and stuff like this. Reports from Spanish police. No, fuck off, not the time. Never the time. Ineos has set up Amran for failure immediately next season. I don't know whether they've set him up. I think they just find themselves in a fucking bind. And I think what happens is they've gone in, and I don't think they realised going in how fucking bad the financials were. And I think for Amran, the gun was put to his head to come in. It was come in now or you're not getting it. So he had to come in when he did. And I think he's in a real difficult dilemma and stuff like that and all, you know what I mean? But he's a real challenge on his hands going forward. I think if we get some Buemo in and Cunha, they'll certainly look better. But if it's still Xerxes and Hoyland, you're probably going to struggle. And if you still have Anana after that 6 or 8 weeks, if he comes in and you don't have a new number one, he's going to cough you up at least 12 to 15 points. He's going to mess up in at least 4 or 5 games at least. So he's going to cough you up those points as well. And that's what has you in mid to bottom table, That's the difficulty. Diaz would give Rabiot a run for her money with his yapping about transfers. He's unbelievable, isn't he? And the funny thing about this, Romy, this started right after all the support we gave through the kidnapping and everything we could do at the time we gave Lewis and all this kind of stuff and all. And we brought them back in and the club provided them with everything that they could. This fucker hasn't stopped yapping about fucking Barcelona since it happened. It's crazy. Sorry, my phone died when I was out. I actually really like our kit this year. Badge back where it should be. Yeah, colour. Colour looks better as well. Yeah, it looks a really nice jersey and stuff like that. No, yeah, I looked at it the other day. Could be a contender on Thursday show. We shall see. But always a fun show. On Aries to Wolves today. I'm very happy about that. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of isn't that Ryan? There's a lot of little deals going on at the moment that people aren't even picking up on. We spoke about Sunderland the other night on the show, doing this, signed 4 or 5 or 6 players or whatever it is. No one even had a clue they were doing business. Amazing. We definitely need to sort out Canate's situation, sorted before the window ends. I think it will be. I think Real want him as well, but I don't think Real can't keep on acting the way they're acting, like, telling us to run down their contracts and stuff like that. No, it's a bad vibe for what should be the Galacticos. 28, only a year older than me, makes you value life more. Anything can happen. R.I.P. Jota and Andre. Yeah, it is. It's just mad, man. Mad. 10 days married or whatever it was. 3, I think, really young kids. You know what I mean? It's just, a wife left behind, a mother who lost 2 sons. I have 2 sons here and a daughter. I can't imagine a day where I get a call that I've lost both my sons. I don't even know how I would deal with it. I don't know. Yeah, absolutely, Ryan. Absolutely. Legend. And big up, Ryan. Big up to Wolves as well. Absolutely stellar, man. Stellar. Jim Ratcliffe is a glazer in a grey wig. He is, isn't he? He is 100%. It's mad, isn't it? So you wanted Chelsea. I was watching pre-season match against Preston. It was an amazing tribute for Jota. It was really sad not seeing him in the squad. It felt so sad and weird. I know, and I don't know if you were watching it as well. I don't know if you picked up on it as well. But when they went to the ad breaks, when they went to those in between times and stuff like that, like, there was just constant footage. They were showing, like, remember when they lifted the Premier Trophy and he's there, and the way it puts the red bands through the screen, his image was appearing all the time, even through the section of the band. And it was just like every break they went to, there he was. And, even the amount of clips recently coming out and all, and you just see him walking out of the tunnel at Anfield and just constantly involved, training clips and all that. Like, you can't get away from it. And it's kind of surreal. You're nearly pinching yourself, waiting to wake up and go, oh, this was all a bad dream. Nothing happened. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like, you see him there when they lift the Premier League title, and he's there from our side, it's the left-hand side, and he's just standing there and he's just giving it loads, and you're just there going, fucking guy is gone now. Kids haven't got a dad. Wife hasn't got a husband. Childhood sweetheart. Mother hasn't got a son. All the friends, relations, the Liverpool team, the staff at Liverpool, the community, everything, all those fans and all. Like, the magnitude of the loss is just gigantic. When I got the news there last week or whatever it was, I absolutely froze. I just couldn't even think about it. Especially when I wasn't even thinking at a football level. You think at, like, and we are going to do a tribute show. Myself and Dean are going to get together and do a tribute show. But, like, it's just, you take a moment because you're a dad and you think about the kids and the wife and, what he's left behind. And, I know financially everything will be okay. And I know that's a very important part of it and stuff like that as well. But, God, you can't put a price on that situation. Those kids growing up now, like, their dad was an absolute legend, Yeah, tough watching them score as well, Keith. And, like, they can't let themselves go. Connor scoring that goal, and it's just heartbreaking at every level. I'd like Costas to go. Robbo was a great old head to have around. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Grass is never greener on the other side. Ask Coutinho Diaz. Yeah. Absolutely. I think for those guys, especially South American guys, I've seen that there's links as well. There was links there between Mac and Real Madrid, and I called this. I said in a number of years you'll see McAllister will play for Real Madrid. There's no doubt about it. But they just have desires. That's their dream. Their dream is to go there, and look, you can't kill. You can't put someone down over their dream. Gahey, Isaac, and Rodrigo or Matoma would be a nice end to the window. Yeah. A nice end to the window. My God, it'd be outstanding. Outstanding. Rodrigo, I'll miss him if he goes, but it's best for his career. Even Lunan, he needs to be the starter for the club. He's too good to hold bench like Kelleher. Yeah, great. Absolutely. How do you think, actually, Romy, how do you think if Rodrigo went to Liverpool, how do you think he'd fit in on that left-hand side? Think he'd ball out for us? How do you think he'd fare out Premier League-wise? No. I was hesitant to put it in the group chat that morning because I hadn't seen concrete confirmation, just rumours, but it was shocking news. Yeah, absolutely shocking. Yeah, just couldn't believe it. And then you're kind of waiting for it to be like misinformation. Obviously, you're conscious of the fact that even if it wasn't them, two people had lost their lives as well. Could be a mistaken identity or something like that. And then when you have the likes of Sky Sports confirming it and Romano and all these contacts and stuff like that, just absolutely horrific. Um, Diaz's old lad is like, you know, Maradona, he is, yeah, he's a head case. He's a head case. Tino, yeah, absolutely nuts. That 16-year-old Rio kid Liverpool had, he's unreal, isn't he? Yeah, he's a baller, isn't he, that guy? Yeah, he reminds me of what's his name? The lad off Newcastle, Sam Maximin. Reminds me of him, but with a bit more skill and a bit more nous about him and stuff like that and all. But he certainly should be a player that's ingrained into the squad now and stuff like that and brought along and nurtured and given time and stuff like that and all. He looks a real talent. And the Bugnoni as well, the young lad as well. These guys, there's a plethora of talent there now that needs to be absorbed in and given a little bit of time and stuff like that. I think Arna this season needs to be just maybe just a tad bit more braver with some of these guys, I think, Rodrigo, he will cook at Liverpool. Arna, I think, would have a plan for him and get the best out of the lads, yeah. Hope so. You can have Rodrigo, we take McAllister. Don't know. I'd be hard pressed to give Mac away. He's a baller, but I do think he will have designs on eventually playing in Spain for you boys. There's no doubt about it. It's only a matter of time. That's why you should be keeping good relations with us on Canate and Trent and all this kind of stuff. It's down the road, It's good. It's good to have this fruitful relationship and stuff like that, But we shall see what happens. But listen, like I said, Marky was caught up this week, so he'll be back next week and we'll get his thoughts. Tomorrow night, don't miss it. Pro Wrestling Weekly. Be in the chat. We have a bit of crack. You can let us know what your thoughts was on all the different shows and stuff like that. And all. I thought it was a stellar weekend for wrestling. So we'll talk about that tomorrow night with Bren and the two Seans, hopefully. And then on Thursday, our favourite show of the year, or one of our favourite shows of the year, the kit review, where we go and look at the kits and stuff like that and all. Absolutely, yeah. A great show, real pick-me-up show and stuff like that. Myself and Darren, we always have difference of opinion and stuff like that. But I think the last couple of seasons, we've definitely voted. I think it's definitely been Crystal Palace. And just a little spoiler for the show. Darren is very hot on the new Nottingham Forest jersey, just to let you know. Looks the biz. There you go. Romy, we are nice to you guys. We paid 10 mil for Trent. You did. You did. We squeezed you in the end. Jada dancing on the cop singing his own song Will Never Leave Me. It's hit me bad, genuinely. Feels like we lost a friend, forever a red. But we did. We did. We spent so much of our time given to football and stuff like that. And, we love these boys. And it's the same with any club that you follow and any of the players and stuff like that. But obviously me and Dino being Liverpool fans, it's very special for us. And as I say to Dino, there's always some sort of tragedy just around the corner. But generally it tends to galvanise us and push us forward and make us stronger. They say what doesn't kill you as a fan makes you stronger and stuff like that and all. And I think he'll be there looking down on us this season and he'll be willing us on and stuff like that. I'm sure he's up there wondering what's all the fuss. You know what I mean? Because he was that guy. He was a very guy of simple means. He was a family man. He loved his kids, dedicated so much of his time to his family, loved a bit of gaming and loved doing charity and stuff like that and all. And I think that's what was important. That's what's come out this week. So we shall see. We gave you a win in the Champions League as well last season. You did. Get that fantasy football back. Bored out of my mind with no decisions to be thinking of. Yeah, absolutely. There's a new one out there as well, Ted. Did you see the new one that they're advertising on the United stand? I can't remember what it's called. It's like an American version of it. But it looks really cool. It encompasses all stuff as well, but looks the biz as well. I can't remember what the name of it is now. I don't even know if DraftKings or whoever's doing it, but it looked the business. I hope Slot rotates the squad a bit more this season. The players will get leggy towards the end of the season. We might not get lucky this season with a 10-point cushion. He'll have no choice with the rotate because they've obviously got AFCON and various things like that happening. So Salah's going to exit the building for at least 6 weeks, so he has to have a plan for that. So let's see what way this goes. Let's see. So rare. So, is that what it's called? I'm not too sure. I haven't got a clue what it's called. I haven't got a clue what it's called. It's on the Mark Goldbridge advertising on the United stand. But it just, I looked at kind of the interface of it, looked pretty cool and stuff like that and all. And I'm not a big fancy football guy anyway, So, but I thought you guys, it might be cool to even try something different, But yeah. Right, folks, that's it. I'll catch you tomorrow night for Pro Wrestling Weekly. We'll be on your screens at 8 o'clock, the panel. And then the usual Thursday, 9 o'clock with Darren for the kit review. Until then, stay safe, folks. Enjoy your week. Talk to you real soon. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification button. Drop a like on the video. And we'll talk real soon.